to Greatness podcast. I'm Rick Nieuwenhoven, owner of New Vision, member of Entrepreneurs Organisation South Australia. The views of the hosts and the guests are of a personal nature and do not represent any organisation. Enjoy today's show. Hi everyone, welcome again. We've got Danny Elassaad with us today from the Entrepreneurs Organisation in South Australia. Danny, how are you?
I'm very well, Rick. How are you doing?
I'm awesome, mate. Awesome. I had my fibre this morning, a big green vegetable breakfast, so I'm pumped, energised, ready to go.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Brilliant.
So what about you? How are you feeling, buddy?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Yeah?
I'm excited where things are at, and just totally focused on the future.
Yeah, excellent. That's what we like to hear. So I thought a good way to start is just to get a little bit to know you and your business. So your business is CW Products. Can you tell us a bit about it and how it all started?
Yeah, absolutely. So CW Products, we're a major manufacturer of window roller shutter systems in Australia, as well as a major importer and distributor of automation systems, anything that moves sun protection and security products. So blinds, awnings, projection screens, roller shutters, roller doors, gates, you name it, we do it. The business is 32 years old this year. It was founded in 1984 by my father, who was a new immigrant to the country. He came to Australia with a strong engineering background. He's a doctor of solar engineering and mechanical engineering, and found it really hard to get a job in the early phases. Had a young family, not much money and not much language, and decided early on the only way he was going to make it in this country was to start his own business. So he leveraged some of the knowledge he had out of Europe around sun protection and energy efficiency in the home, and realised that the window furnishings market in Australia wasn't that advanced at that time, and thought, well, he'll take the initiative and really help kickstart the roller shutter market in Australia. Absolutely.
And I mean, how inspirational. I mean, so he was one of the pioneers in that market?
Yeah, Dad is very much perceived to be one of the pioneers in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess now, as time evolves, people enter the market, so you wouldn't be the sole competitor in the market anymore?
No, absolutely not. I mean, with business, there's nothing that's constant. It's always consistently changing. The hard work is actually opening the market and creating the market. But once you do so successfully, naturally, competitors arise in the marketplace, and that's a good thing. It helps grow the market.
So I guess without talking about specific plans and anything like that, I guess how do you as a business person then tackle the evolution of the market and potential competitors and to try and keep on the front foot, especially with a business that's been quite innovative?
Yeah, look, that's a tricky one. We are very much focused on, first of all, we never rest on our laurels. We're always looking at our business, understanding, looking for opportunities where we can do things better. The most important thing, I think, is to actually listen to your customers. Understand what their needs are, what their wants are, and find a way to make it happen for them. That's really important. The second thing is, I mean, Australia, from a global perspective, is actually quite a small market in our industry. We're constantly looking for new innovative ideas overseas. We're constantly looking at creating and developing our own ideas to implement here in the marketplace. And I think within our industry, as a result, we're the most innovative, dynamic company. And that's probably why we're one of the best performing, and we'll continue to do so well into the future.
I guess you'd probably know more about this than me. I guess I was always brought up with, which would be an advantage for your business, that Australia because of our hot climate, didn't really make very environmentally protected houses from heat and cold because of the extremes. Is that one of the advantages to a business like you, that you can sort of reduce that buffer between the two extremities in the weather?
Yeah, look, the climate in Australia is very extreme. I mean, we go from, relatively speaking, cold winters to very, very hot summers. And as a result, empowering people to be able to control their environments becomes very, very important, in particular in the heat. The second reason why our products are in strong demand is the construction quality generally in Australia is quite low and is really driven by price rather than thermal protection or thermal performance. As a result, people find that once they've built their home, it's not as comfortable as they would have hoped for. and they tend to opt for a product like ours as a result.
Sure. So is this a question that you can articulate? Like, what's the passion with the business? Like, obviously your dad needed to do something and decided, I'm going to go down this pathway. Was that always a passion, or has the passion just evolved in time?
I would say that the passion's evolved in time, but I was very fortunate to have some experiences early on working in my teens. In fact, as a pizza maker in a very well known cafe in South Australia, in Adelaide. I loved it, but I realised early on that I wanted to be in charge of my own destiny. I really didn't want to work for anybody else. I wanted to grab life by the horns and lead it to where I wanted to go. So I decided early on that being my own boss was really important. It was then about the vehicle to get us there, and I've always been passionate about our family business. I love what we do, and I see it as an honour to work by my father's side, and I'm just excited. The passion really is about building something special and continuing that legacy.
Are you like many entrepreneurs, especially myself, where you were not very good as an employee, or you're a good employee but just didn't have the passion to be an employee?
I'm a terrible employee. I can't lie to you, Rick.
You're not alone, my friend. You're not alone. I don't know how many jobs I got sacked from, and I probably deserve to be sacked from most of them.
Yeah, but look, that's probably why we do what we do. We love it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Because we know we don't have an alternative.
So your role in the business has evolved. Did you start off, in the background, sort of working in it, and it's just evolved from there? And what's your role now?
Oh, look, I started in my my earliest memories are probably around about 8 years old, sweeping the factory floor and doing odds and sods, and every school holidays we were in there. Doing what we had to do, and that's what you do in a family business. It's all hands on. I probably started working in a serious capacity in the business about 12 years ago. Initially, I took on a bit of a marketing role and a jack of all trades. That's evolved quite dramatically over that time, and today I very much run the entire business alongside with my father.
Right. So how did you do any formal educational training to bring you up to speed, or is it just something you've learned as you've gone along?
I have done some formal education, but essentially I have learnt by being hands-on within the business. That's really what helped fast-track my performance within the business itself. But early on, I realised that I need more than just the experience that I was getting in the business, and that's actually what led me to EO, the Entrepreneurs Organisation. To be around fellow entrepreneurs who are highly engaged, who want to learn, show, share, and grow together. I found that to be a great environment, and it certainly helped fast track my abilities within the business.
Awesome. So you work with your father now. So how have you got defined roles, or is it a bit blurry? How does that work?
In my experience, family business is always a bit blurry. We do, in essence, have defined roles. I mean, he's still the managing director, and I'm the director. Essentially, I oversee sales, marketing, and operations, and my father oversees the purchasing and research and development within the business. So,
segueing on from that one, I guess sometimes there's a different view from people that start up a business themselves and grow it to people that are in a family business. What do you see as the pressures in a family business that sometimes people might not appreciate?
That's a really good question. It's very personal. It's very difficult to lock up the doors at the end of the day and go home and talk to the rest of your family and it be very clean cut and very separated. Family life and business are very much intertwined, rightly or wrongly. That's just the way it is. And when things, business is a roller coaster. Being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster, and it's great when you're at the highs, but it's terrible when you're at the lows, and it's even harder when the rest of the family is involved.
Did you, as a family, have you made some rules in relation to communication outside of the business to try and not have that full-on business nature, 20 hours a day, which, as a family person as well, there's probably been a mistake on my part. And my wife has said to me numerous times, I want a husband, not a business partner sometimes. So, it can be a very blurred line.
It's an extremely blurred line. We try our best to leave business behind at work, but it's very difficult, especially when you're both very passionate about the business. You find that it can dominate the majority of your discussions. It's challenging, but we're working on it.
So have you guys tied other family members into the business, or is it just you two?
Essentially, it's just Dad and I. We're the two that are involved.
Right. You haven't thought about bringing in other people? Because that's sometimes something that happens in a family business. You start getting other siblings or your cousins or whatever, which can even make it more difficult.
It can be more challenging. I think the key is that you actually, when you're in a family business, that's where you want to be. That's really important, and you're passionate not only about the family success, but you're really passionate about the business itself. And unless you're passionate about the business itself, then it's better to focus on something that you're actually passionate about.
Sure. And what about decision making? Have you got a clear-cut pathway with you both in decision making? Because I'm speaking to some family-run businesses which have more family influence in them, but it can become a bit boggy in getting agreement with people.
Yeah, it can be challenging. I think the important thing is to be on the same page as to what it is that you're actually trying to achieve. And the first thing with that is actually to have a clear vision and make sure that all the stakeholders have bought into that vision. Once you have an agreement as to where you're going, the decision-making process becomes a lot easier, because that becomes the filter in which you see everything through. So, like any business, like any family, we have our moments, we have our disagreements, but the most important thing is to not be emotional, to look at the decision-making process very logically and very thoroughly, and to make sure that it's actually in line with the ultimate objective of the business. And if you can sit down and talk about that constructively, you find that more times than not, you actually end up on the same page.
I noticed what I've done in our business is I've actually brought in Steve McLeod to sort of sit on our advisory board to sort of be that third party. So if there's a split decision or if there's a disagreement with ideas, just to get someone neutral with no vested interest to say, I agree with that person or this person. Has that something you've looked at in the past, or you haven't had to go?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we've done something very similar as of late with an external advisor who both myself and Dad mutually respect, and we pull him in from time to time to discuss the overall strategy and vision of the business, and he helps us make decisions that are in line with that.
Yeah. And have you found that, obviously I'd imagine you found that beneficial?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really good just to get someone that's not emotionally attached to the business, whom you respect, to look at it constructively. Yeah,
awesome. So in relation to the business, running a business, what challenges you? What challenges have you come across and that you've had to deal with and sort of make you dig deep in yourself?
Oh, look, it depends on the day. There's a whole multitude of challenges that appear at any one time. I heard a really good saying that if your business isn't going through a crisis every 3 months, you're not pushing hard enough.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Look, that's the nature of business. It's constantly changing, and it will constantly push you to your limits. And that's probably one of the things that actually makes us love what we do. But if it's not people challenges, it's cash challenges. And if it's not cash challenges, it's supplier challenges. And if it's not supplier challenges, it's customer challenges. Yeah. The reality is nothing is constant, and you will always be challenged in one area of your business at any one time.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I guess I don't know if you see my 3-minute videos that I do on social media as well, but I just did one on doubt today because I think as business, we just get so confused at times as business owners with doubt because we want to do this, and it becomes really complicated for us. And I guess so the moral was don't let doubt affect your ultimate dream. And that's a big challenge, I find.
Absolutely. I mean, a great saying that I heard the other day was the biggest challenge you'll face in life the biggest battle you'll face in life is the one between your ears. And I think that's absolutely true. And I think entrepreneurs in particular are extremely hard on themselves, but I think that's what helps drive them forward and helps them take on big things and big challenges and achieve great things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big one for pushing myself. I think we want to, it's about pushing the boundaries. I mean, and I don't want to put it all on black, so there's got to be a bit of method to it. But yeah, if we're not challenging ourselves and doubt's good, because I think that doubt actually helps with evolution in running a business as well.
Absolutely. And the doubt makes you always question, makes you look over things rigorously. But, sometimes you do need to break away from that doubt and take a leap of faith and back yourself.
So I just want to segue, I guess, into your EO capacity as well. So you volunteered your time and became South Australian president. How was that for you?
It was a great experience. I'm extremely passionate about being a member of the Entrepreneurs Organisation. It's been one of the things over the last 7 years that's really helped me grow as a person and helped my business grow as a person and helped my family out immensely. So an opportunity to lead the chapter that I love was an opportunity that I absolutely relished and loved and was incredibly grateful for.
And what did you take out of that role which you could put back into your normal everyday life and into your business? I'm sure there would have been certain things there.
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a lot about time management. I learned a lot about leadership of people, and in particular, entrepreneurs are not an easy bunch to lead. Everybody's busy, everybody's focused on other things. To take a group of entrepreneurs and create alignment, not only at a board level, but at a chapter level is a huge challenge. It's certainly a challenge that challenged me greatly. But one of the key learnings was to be really clear as to what it is that you're trying to achieve and to really get the buy-in of the chapter as to why it's important. And I think when you sell a clear message and you build personal relationships, you can get the outcome that you desire. Yeah.
And I guess that's a fundamental theme that you can then bring back into a business sense with your staff as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the greatest learnings of being president is the importance of having the right person on the right seat on the bus. That is just so paramount. If you get the right team around you, the vision that you're trying to achieve just becomes so much easier. You just got to make sure you're steering it in the right direction.
Yeah. I've used alignment and core values more in the last 2 months than I reckon I ever had in my last month, thanks to EMP.
Yeah. Incredibly powerful stuff. Incredibly powerful.
It is. I must admit. Once I sort of got my head around what they were talking about, it just made sense and helps with that. So I guess which segues into your experience. Interestingly, I got told the other day, loosely, that only like 10% of EOers are actually sort of have an interest in EMP, which I thought was amazing. I mean, you're now in your second year. How's that working for you?
Great. EMP is one of those things that keeps me highly engaged in EO. It's a great opportunity to connect with 65 other entrepreneurs from around the world, people from diverse cultural backgrounds with running some pretty amazing businesses. It's actually pretty astounding when I think about some of the people in our class and some of the things they're doing. So to be surrounded in that environment, to build that bond and that camaraderie is just invaluable, and throw on top of that the caliber of the speakers and presenters that we're getting, and it's absolutely world class.
So how was the second year for you? Well, I mean, because the first year, I guess, is so impactful. It's a lot about the core values, a lot about the scaling up. So what did you take away from the second year?
What I learned about second year was it's all about implementation. You can learn all this great stuff. But if you don't do anything with it, you won't get anything from it. And so second year for me was all about, we learned all this amazing stuff in year one. What are we actually doing with that now? How do we actually put a plan in place to make sure that that's what we're going to work towards and action? So second year for me was all about implementation, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Awesome. What about goals and accountability? Is that an important thing for you with executing what you want to deliver?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've done is the EMP members that are flying the Australian flag, we've created an accountability group. We connect once a month. We've got an action plan, and we're all sticking to it. I'm grateful to say.
Awesome. So have you set big goals for what? Did you set big goals for the 3-year period that you're with EMP, or have you set goals that go beyond that through that experience?
Both. So I know where we want to be by the end of EMP, and I'm proud to say that we're on track. And I know where we want to go in the next 5 or 6 years with our vivid vision. So we're very, very crystal clear on that as well.
So just for people that don't know, what's the vivid vision? What are you talking about there?
Okay, so it's about the type of company that we're trying to build. We want to be the market leader in our space. We want to be an innovative, dynamic team with a highly engaged team that's totally focused on kicking our goals.
Awesome. And so was that the vivid vision that sort of Cameron Herald spoke about?
Yeah, absolutely. Cameron Herald was really the inspiration for our vivid vision, and his presentation at our local chapter and at EMP was probably one of the most impactful presentations I've seen.
Awesome. So you would have seen a lot of speakers. Who's one of your most favourite speakers that you've seen over the last year or two?
Probably Vern Harnish. Vern Harnish from year one. He just really articulated the important fundamentals that we need to be doing in our business, and he made it seem a lot less scarier than I thought it was, and he really had the ability to chunk it down into small bite-sized pieces that makes it a lot easier to implement.
That's it's interesting because I had Brian Brolt on a couple of weeks ago, and the story that I gave was that after Vern's discussions, I was emailing Brian going, "What the hell am I doing here? What'd you pick me for? My business is out of control." I was just like, throwing my hands in the air. But what he made was a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Look, Danny, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, no problem. Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
I hope it wasn't too hard for you.
No, not at all.
And I had a request for intro music, so I've got some intro music to the podcast, and I'm just playing a random song at the end, so we'll be able to sit back and listen to It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll by AC/DC.
It absolutely is. Thanks, Rick.
Pleasure, mate. We'll speak soon.
Cheers.
See ya.